Hello, my name is Mandolin Royal, and today it's another fun-filled chicken chore day. And my priority is going through babies, emptying out my breeders to prepare for the next round, and finding out which birds I'm keeping, which birds are probably going to be dinner, and which birds can go on and be productive elsewhere. And I'm feeling pretty good after the progress we've made so far. And we're still chipping away at emptying out our old sand-based pens that had some very old sand in there. And I guess you get 7, 8, 9 years out of sand until it just gets aged and stinky. And there's no way to get that stink out besides supplementing with peat moss. And it's so cold in the winter. So we've got another, 1, 2, 3, 4 more pens done. 2 more pens remain. The other one's around the corner. But today, I'm going to be using my handy-dandy sort cage. I was anticipating having 3 holes available, but right now this guy's clogging it up. So I'm going to work with 2 holes. And I'll be going through my project babies first. Now, if you're not familiar with my little project, it is a process of introducing a cushion comb through Chanticleer. Don't go outside. You can come out here if you want, boy. So he's the guy I'm using this season. And I have him back over 100% American breast females. And I have 3 things on my selection list of what I'm looking for this season from this group. I wish he'd come out here so we can see him in better color. But I'm looking for the cushion comb, blue legs, and meatiness. Because I'm not going to get far into the program if they don't have the meat. And I've noticed by weighing the chicks, they're holding the top and bottom slots for size. So anyone that's in the bottom is going to be automatically out for breeding contention. But I've got my first group of babies off heat. And it's time to go through them and see what I'm getting so far. Because that's going to let me know how many of these I have to hatch over this year to get a pretty good pool to select from for next season. Because when you're actively breeding a flock, it's a very in-depth, ongoing process of finding what you need, seeing what all they're going to throw at you, and figuring out your time investment. As it is, I'm anticipating a solid 5 years before I have them where I want them, and they're consistent. But I won't be surprised if it turns into 7 years or 10 years. We'll see. Because I'm waiting on that genetic expression to show me what I'm working with and to show me the possibilities. But we're going to start it simple. You want to walk out here? But that bird right there is large, meaty, and winterproof. And based on eating their peers last year, I'm going to need some time to work on the carcass and get the body width where I want it and the fleshing as early as I like to see it. Oh my goodness. What kind of laying flock drama do we have going on? I love this guy's demeanor. Temperament is nice and easy, and he's very, very diligent and fair with his females, as well as his neighbors. But let me go ahead and start getting through the first group of babies, and I'll show you just how much variation I'm seeing. Pretty interesting. Might be a little noisy since we are in egg-laying hour, so I apologize in advance for that. Alright, so around here on the other side of my barn, one more pen of Bresse. Trouble making baby turkeys. Adult turkeys. And a nice empty grow pen over here. I've mucked it out down to the dirt. I'm going to refresh it with fresh shavings. And I'm going to find what I'm keeping for more growth out of this little group here. And then I'll clean out their pen. And then I'll pull these guys out of the brooder and sort them. And I'll put my keepers with my keepers. And my availables with my availables. And my next point that I do want to bring up, I don't know if I should or not. I might have to sit down for this next point to give you guys some insight into how a breeding program may be operating. Yeah, I think I'll sit down to explain that. Let me go do that. Okay, so the point I want to explain is the more serious the breeding program is, the earlier some birds are getting culled. And when it's a bird you know is not going to pan out, that may be relatively early. So in a hatchery setting, when they sell females only as an option, they are setting themselves up at day one to have an influx of males that no one wants to buy. So when you see those little mentions on social media of male chicks going into a shredder situation and terminally dealt with early, that does happen. And that happens within different scales of the industry of poultry production. And that's because those males do not have a purpose. They're not going to get that meaty. They're not going to lay eggs. You only need one male for every 10 females, loosely speaking, depending on your goals and how you run your flock. Anyways, every 20 chicks born, there's going to be 9 boys hardly anybody wants. And what drew me to the American breast chickens is the fact that those extra boys turn into a dang nice meal in a nice amount of time, in a sustainable way. They're purebred. Get your flock, get your meat and eggs from that same flock. It's beautiful. It gives those boys a purpose. But not every type of chicken will grow in that way to make it worth it. And I'm talking sex links, colorful egg layers, novelty breeds. There's a whole bunch of boys that you don't even want to know what happens to them because they don't make a meal. That is what led me to the flock decisions that I've been making. But with my project going on, I'm seeing such a huge array of table type expression in the genetics. I can tell by that first, second, third week if they're going to make a meal or not. Now, every single bird needs to have the appropriate amount of space. Each and every single one is going to eat the same amount of feed. Some more than others, but everybody's going to have to eat. They're going to take resources, time, and space. So you have to make judgment calls on who is worth doing that for versus the ones that aren't going to pan out. So I'm warning you now, if I find small, undersized, skinny little cockerels that I already know, because I have been down this rabbit hole for decades. I have dealt with the influx of the male population that no one wants. I have my own broken-hearted experiences of perfectly reasonable but skinny boys not having anywhere to go. Where we live is a very urban area, technically, and you can't hardly give away a rooster for free. That's another reason why I look for those boys that are gonna make a meal, because everybody eats. And that's been working, if they're meaty. So as I sort and select through my project, and as I work through them, I'm looking for the ones that give me the promise of that better flock where the boys have value no matter what. It's been my entire goal this whole time. And if some of them drop off the map and they're not in a shrink bag later, it's because I could tell they weren't going to be worth the time, space, and expense. And it's sad, but it's part of the process of getting to a better place with your flock, of getting to where each and every single chick born has a purpose. So now that I've said that little disclaimer, I'm going to go through these pens, see what I find, and I'm going to let you know who's getting more growth, who's going to be kept for dinner, and who's going to be a little younger snack. Because if you do give them some growth and you are able to utilize some of the meat, then it's not wasted. There's nothing I hate more than waste. It takes a lot of time and resources just to hatch eggs, and I'm not hatching anything for nothing. I'm done with that. I'm over it. So done. I will not hatch anything for nothing. So, let's get into that pen and see what I find. I'm sorry to laugh about it, but man, I have been through it with birds trying to find the most efficient, fair, and ethical methods of having a sustainable flock that meets all of our needs. That I can breed for ourselves so that I have zero reliance on anyone else in this effort. Except my feed guy. I still have to go buy feed. Alright, back in a minute. Well, I have good news and bad news. Oh, you're being such a good boy for this. He's only here temporarily to get used to me being around and watching the other pens interact. He's headed to a different farm. Alright, so this group of hybrid F2 Chanticleer and American Bresse crosses. This is going to be a long season with these guys. So on the right side here was everyone that had the right kind of comb and they felt meaty. And I had to quickly find a tolerance for leg color because that's proving to be a process. And these are the ones who didn't feel meaty. And there's one male and 3 females. And I know after all of this hatching and breeding work I've done over the years, the skinny girls don't produce meaty boys as their sons. So 3 of them are going to be breakfast egg makers because they're going to make eggs. The females almost always have value if they can be productive and be pretty good little chicks. What was annoying, that one right there with the blue legs, but it has kind of a pea comb and there's brown on the beak and it's skinny. I can't work with skinny. There's the foot color I wanted. But I know better than to breed for color right off the bat because I need them to be meaty. So in the meaty pen, it's 4 boys and 1 female with a huge variety foot color going on. But they felt great. And look at those winter-proof little combs. So these I'm going to put in that empty pen I had for more growth. I'll probably stick a leg band on that pullet. Now my next step is to get through the purebred American Bresse and see how they're looking. This is a pretty small group, so it didn't take me much time at all to sort them for meaty or not. And that flat cushion comb. Congratulations. More time to grow and show me what you're working with. And thankfully, only 1 male. I'll probably put a leg band on him, stick him with these guys, and grow him more, because deep down I'm a softie. And I can afford the space and feed and such right now. That's another driving force, is if you can afford it, do it. And I can. So no one's gonna get prematurely dealt with today. They mature so nice. Now, between last year and this year, what I'm noticing by taking an F1 male back over purebred Bresse, I am getting meatier results this year. And that is a relief. I was about to abandon it last year because the F1, they just weren't that meaty, more often than not. But now I'm seeing the meat. So that's cool. I'm gonna go ahead and get these guys resituated back where I need them to be so I can empty out the rest of my brooders and make way for the next group of babies that are a week old, a couple days old. I had a little bit of a quick stagger to my hatching recently because that first warm-up led to higher egg production. And then I got cold again. But hopefully spring is here to stay and my normal warm temperature procedures can start getting ramped up. Are you a good boy? This guy was raised feral in rooster coop. This is socializing him. What do you think? You can't have them. Do you mind me much? No, not too much. He's shaping up to be a really good boy. Mostly. Hey. He's probably gonna hang out in here for about a week or so just to get it adjusted, socialized. He'll be alright. Looks like his brain is pretty good. Alright, back to work. I'll show you how the American Bresse sort out after this group. I have some more thoughts before I put them where I want them and get started on my next little group. So when you're doing experimental breeding, like this group is, figuring out your inheritability and what traits you're seeing at what percentage within your hatch group, that is all an educational opportunity of the range of genetics that can be within a flock. Now, the sire of these birds only has 3 females. I'm not pair mating yet because I don't have a system set up to hatch hen by hen. And when I look at, for example, the meaty group and the range of expression and the leg color, that's where my brain wants to tell me, pair hatch, so you know. Because if I did start seeing a higher instance of blue legs, was it coming from one female of the 3? Or was it coming as a percentage from all 3? Those questions. I love how chill they are, though. But yeah, breeding is about finding the genetics you want to work with, unraveling the genetics you have in your flock, and then rebuilding them into what you want them to be. And I now have 7 full seasons under my belt of getting the American Bresse how I like them to be, with my new little adventure of getting the same kind of bird but with a winterized cushion comb, which benefits us here where we are, and then it benefits people who are way further north than we are, who see way worse winters than what we see here. Hey, is there a bully in here? You. You cannot be a bully. You gonna give me grief? That guy fancies himself a leader. I'll have to keep an eye on him. Because another rule I have, no unnecessary aggression. Not towards me, not towards your flock peers. I'm watching you. Because you are a nice meaty one. Alright. Now back to the other groups of birds. Well, that wannabe little bully is a turkey now. We'll see if he can handle this group. And if not, well, you know. He was being awful. So I just dropped him into this pen. We'll see how he copes. Clearly, he cannot be a chicken today. And I had him with 2 older breast cockerels and a brooder, but that is no longer sustainable due to size. So if he can't figure it out here, can't handle that extra aggression. It's too much. I'm in the pen I pulled those hybrid chicks from. I've got 2 American breast pullets that were in here already because they tested out as great. I've raked up a pile of cruddy bedding I'm going to remove. I'll refresh the bedding with newer bedding. And then we'll get through these other birds. I'm going to put the nice males that are probably dinner grade next door with the hybrid babies that are eventually going to move over to rooster coop. And the ones that are the best are going to hang with the pullets in this pen. And then after that, I've got to clean all these brooders and sanitize all the drinkers and feeders and whatnot and get ready for the next batch. Man, it's a good thing I love doing this. It's a little bit of work. Alright, the little turkey. He got picked on by a much bigger male turkey and now he knows his place. So he's just going to camp with those guys for now. I always try to accommodate temperaments for a more peaceful flock environment. And if I see too much drama, I deal with it one way or another. So this pen is now refreshed with new bedding. This wall-mounted feeder, I love it, but they're not quite tall enough yet to reach it. So I positioned just a regular gravity feeder in front of it so they learn the location. And when they're tall enough, I'll remove that feeder and they'll start eating from the other. Added a drinker propped up on a block to keep it cleaner. This pen also got refreshed. And these 2 pullets are waiting on their new roommates. So now that I have that done, now I can go through the rest of them. Alright, I found 11 fantastic pullets. And the 2 best cockerels for the whole batch is staying with the girls. And they're all ready to go to another farm. Because right now I'm really happy with my flock positioning. And so I'm not too worried about keeping the best ones for me. And everyone that I deem to be dinner quality was over here in this pen to grow some more. And the 3 little hybrid pullets, they're going to go be productive egg layers elsewhere. So I left them in my sort cage while waiting on their new people to come and fetch them. But I am really pleased with how the American breasts sorted out. Everybody was meaty. Man, that's been a long time coming. So put your time in and put your work in. Because I'm here to tell you, it's worth it. You'll get there. With patience, and dedication, and the work. the work of it. So now that I have all of these brooders empty, I'm gonna clean them out, get them ready for the next round. And this is gonna be my life for like the next 7 months of hatching, sorting, moving, sorting again, moving again, cleaning, cleaning, and cleaning, and feeding, and feeding. And that little boy that was way too big for his britches, there's a turkey that keeps him in line. So he's just gonna camp here while he matures and tells me more about himself. If he ends up being too much, well, I've got a shrink bag with his name on it. Time will tell. Patience, man. You hear that, turkey? Patience. What's that saying in the military? Hurry up and wait. I live that way with these birds. Hurry up, get the flurry of activity done, and then wait. They have to grow enough to show you what you have to see until you really, really know what you're looking at. Man, that takes some time. So be nice to yourself. Be considerate of where you're at. It's a process. It's a learning adventure. Don't be too brazen. Don't be too shy. There's a funky little balancing act to find within the whole process of it. And absolutely do not beat yourself up. And absolutely eat all of the birds that shouldn't go live on another farm. Because that ties the whole system together. The birds that should not move to another farm, those are the ones you eat. And we eat really, really good. I'm going to try to do more cooking videos over this season as we get through those birds that did not make the cut for breeding. There's a lot to know about cooking heritage chicken. I'm going to try to do a better job on teaching you what to do with what ages and genders as I get through them. My next video is going to focus on a 22-week-old pullet that I didn't need to keep anymore, that I shouldn't sell. She is now in a shrink bag and aging. Probably going to cook on Monday. I don't know. I love the flexibility of this methodology. There's just so much to learn. Keep your mind open. And then do the thing. So more on this later. It's going to be a long season. But I love every second of it. So more on this later. Feel free to like and subscribe. I'm going to try to teach you everything I know.